Okay, good morning, everybody. So we're back on our Shalom Irish Garden of Peace. Okay, so yesterday we spoke about how a man has to be a man and to quell the arguments, correct? You have to make sure the argument happened. You have to be a man to, try to solve the argument and put an end to it and not carry it for weeks, sometimes for months, and sometimes for years. This morning we saw what? In Masachet Ketubot? Masachet Ketubot, we saw what? That a woman has conjugal rights by the man. He must. Conjugal means relations at night, intimacy. He must provide intimacy. There was an opinion that said he can withhold for a week, for whatever reason, and there's an opinion that said for 2 weeks. But after 2 weeks, for sure, everybody says that what? Asur to withhold. You hear? So this ties in with this quelling the arguments type of thing. If you're going to sit there and be like a woman and be upset at her, yeah, and use this conjugal visits, this intimacy against her, then you're going to get punished for it. Now you're going to say, no, it's not me, it's her. She's the one who doesn't want. She's the one that doesn't let me. Yeah, but there's a reason why she does that. Yesterday we mentioned, it cannot be that without a reason she's not allowing you to be with her. It cannot be. It's not normal. So therefore, you have to be man enough to try to find out what the reason is and try to make that work. That was yesterday. Today it says no pressure.
This is very broad.
Huh?
This is very
Well,
broad.
yesterday
How can you find out?
go yesterday's shiur
She doesn't want to talk to
and you listen to 41 shiurim, and then you'll understand what's going on with you. It's not about you don't understand. 41 shiurim talking about what you're doing wrong that she doesn't want to talk to you. You understand? She's not going to be not talking to you for no reason. There is a reason behind it. We just are sometimes blinded to the reason. And sometimes it's as easy as just talking nice to her. This is his premise is that we are not nice to our wives. We comment negatively and we don't give positive comments and positive affirmations and love and so on and so forth. So it's easy, but it's very hard. You hear? So we have to sort of, break that barrier of trying to be able to do what he says. He says the Chinuch writes that it's impossible to list all the things that cause people pain because each person is different. People have different degrees of sensitivity. What offended one person might not bother someone else. One must therefore be sensitive to the feelings of those around him and assured that his words and deeds don't hurt a soul, directly or indirectly, intentionally or unintentionally. As you see, sometimes we talk here, and we can mention some words that for 9 people everything's okay, and for the 10th one he's bothered by it. And you're like, Ibi, what did I say? I said Zitski Sad, I said kindergarten, and you get upset? Oh, so he gets upset. I didn't mean it, it's a figure of speech type of thing, yeah? But, so he's saying you have to be very particular about different types of people because different type of people get hurt by different things. He says, people nowadays suffer a great deal of stress. They worry about security, they worry about their income, their social standing, their future. Some also worry about fulfilling their obligations to Hashem, and others are naturally stressed out. In any event, patience with others guarantees that we won't upset them and also soothes their nerves. So he says people are stressed, and therefore he's really talking about your wife, yeah? He wants you to be attentive to her stress level and what she gets stressed by, and therefore try to make it easy on her. It says women are especially subject to stress: housekeeping, child rearing, shopping, banking, preparing meals, looking good for their husbands, and in many cases, holding down a job is tough to bill for. Meaning, she has a job plus everything else. What we have to do is one day take the form of a woman, and after work, try to juggle. Going picking up the kids, making the this and doing the that, and putting laundry in a thing. It's a very, very stressful thing to do. If you just tried one time, you'd be like, wow, what is this? Yeah, she's Mama's a Superman. How does she do all that? Yes. Yeah, because it's multitasking to the 3rd degree. Not the 2nd degree, to the 3rd degree. It's very difficult. Yeah, because after work you come, you're already tired. But then her work just begins. And we come as a boss, big boss. Where's everything? We also learn in the Ketubot, right? And mamish, everybody has to learn this, that a woman has certain obligations. However, if she's working, it looks like there's no obligations. Absolutely no obligations.
Yeah.
Why? Because since she's working and making the money, you take the money, you need to clean the house, pay for the maid. You need food, buy from the restaurant. You need laundry, take to the laundromat. Here, so looks like there's no obligations. Not according to me, not according to them. He didn't say that. Masechet Ketubot. What page was that in, Rabbi? 61, I think, in English.
Yeah.
Look it up over there. Clearly says it. Okay. So he says a caring husband does all he can to relieve the demands on his wife and make her life as stress-free and enjoyable as possible. By talking to her calmly and caring for her, he helps take off the load of stress off her shoulders. By creating a happy and tranquil atmosphere in the house, he creates an environment that is of itself stress reducing. Now remember what we said about, several shiurs before, that he said, if she hits the child, don't say anything to her. But why is she hitting the child? Because she's so stressed. And therefore she cannot take this. So if her stress level is low or there is no stress, then she can take anything. So therefore you have to be a conduit to try to reduce the stress this happens. But what do we do? Never we increase the stress. Why? Some of us are not patient with the dinner. Yeah? She might be late. True, you have nothing prepared? I come home tired, I'm hungry. Who do you think you are? So is she hungry. So is she tired. You didn't think about that? Yeah? A sensitive husband acknowledges his wife's stress and does what he can to lighten her load. If he's smart enough to be patient and accepting whenever she doesn't get everything done, he's her best tranquilizer. Here, no dinner, no problem. We'll order some Chinese food. No eta, no problem. I got you. Yeah. By focusing on what she does succeed in accomplishing, praises her for it, and expressing his gratitude for it, he recharges her batteries and gives her the strength to continue. From experience, I know the more support you give to her, the more she wants to do. The more you're against, how come this like how come that? Guess what? The more it's not going to be there. It's a defensive mechanism. Say, you don't like what I'm doing? No problem. I'm not going to do it. You hear? It's one of those things. Wow, you're so good. You're so good. More and more is done. More and more is done. On the other hand, an insensitive husband adds to his wife's stress. If she's already struggling to deal with all her burdens and he asks her to do even more or comments about what she hasn't done, he destroys her completely. Instead of caringly supporting her, he asks her cruelly, what are you so stressed about? I don't understand. What's wrong? Listen, you came from work at 3 o'clock. You had at least 2-3 hours to do all this. Yeah, he's saying. Because this makes her feel guilty for feeling stressed. If she feels pressured about things that wouldn't bother him, he makes her feel stupid about feeling pressure rather than acknowledging and appreciating her difficulties. Rather than offering his assistance, the insensitivity and the egocentric husband focuses on his own interests. Yeah? When he comes in and adds to all the stress by saying, sure, why this not ready? Why that not ready? How come the house is like this? Yeah? He brings more stress to her. A tense husband must make every effort to appear calm and relaxed. You hear what he's saying? A tense husband must show her that he's relaxed. He should learn from our patriarch Abraham. When Abraham arrived in Egypt, he was worried that the Egyptians would kill him in order to take Sarah as his wife for their pharaoh. The Chizkuni writes that despite this, he calmly requested of Sarah, please say that you're my sister, for my welfare and for your sake, and my soul will live in your virtue. Despite his fears, he spoke to Sarah calmly to prevent her from panicking or becoming distressed. Our sages say a pious person keeps his worries in his heart and joy on his face. A lot of times, a person, there's nothing going on, but his parparness will make everybody, stressed out. Why? Because the way that, it's like, relax. Yeah, Abraham was going to a place, he says, that was very dangerous. And yet calmly he says, sweetie, maybe you can go into the box. do me a favor for your own good. Yeah, very calmly. So a man has to be very calm, collected, has to learn not to overreact on certain things. Yeah, because this overreaction creates more stress. The man sets the tone in the house. If he's calm and easygoing, his wife and children will find their home a relaxing and happy place to be. If he's strict and ill-tempered, they won't want to be in his presence. Bad-tempered husbands wonder why their wives and children are never home. Yeah,
They run away.
exactly. He says, to overcome stress and worry, one must trust in Hashem and not burden his family with his trepidations, with all these worries. They depend on him, and he has to depend on Hashem. If he's worried and insecure, as if he has no one to depend on, then they will lose their confidence in him. Yeah. As a result, the wife and children feel even greater stress. A lot of times, a general in the army, if he's very scared, guess what? Everybody else is scared. You hear? So you have to very carefully in your house show that everything is fine. Be confident, not show any worries. You hear? He says, our sages teach us that late on Friday afternoon, a man should ascertain that his wife has made certain Shabbat preparations. Right? We have a Mishnah to this. One of these is the lighting of the Shabbat candles. Shh, ребята, давайте это оставим, ё-моё. Выкиньте мусор и все. Obviously, he can see if they've been lit or not. You hear? If they haven't yet been lit, he should instruct his wife to do so. Our rabbis are careful to point out, though, that this instruction must be done in a calm and gentle manner. Lighting candles after sundown is a severe transgression of Torah. Yet, he is still not allowed to speak to her in a way that would upset her. If so, he certainly should be careful about maintaining a calm and pleasant tone of voice when talking to her about everyday matters. Meaning, when he talks to her, has to be very, very calm. At the end of the day's work, a husband must find time for his wife. By rushing in and rushing out, he creates a tense atmosphere. His wife and children all want to see him and speak to him. They wait for his attention, knowing that he'll soon disappear again. This is stressful for everybody in the family. A lot of times kids want to ask their father something, yeah? Whether it's, Dad, I want to do this, Dad, I need some money for that, Dad, I have a project for this, maybe even have a math question or whatever question. And when they see him, that Dad is very tense and he comes to work, they don't know what to do with him. When can I talk to my father? It's the same thing with the wife. Ideally, he should come home prepared to give them all some quality time and attention. If this isn't possible on a nightly basis, a father should set aside weekly one-on-one time with each of his children. A wife, though, needs quality time every day, preferably a half an hour at least. Knowing that she'll have her own special time with him in the evening helps her to cope and feel calmer all day long. If she knows right now, my husband is going to come. I know every day at this time he gives me half an hour. She feels like, okay, I'm gonna unload on him. Yeah. And by the way, this thing where he says about the children to give them time, very important. I did it not many times, and they remember it from Daddy, remember when he used to give us each 10 minutes alone in the room? I told you, I had a little base down to the basement. We had that little thing where he's standing. We used to sit on the floor. So, how are you? I maybe did it twice, and they will never forget that. Yeah, I should have been doing it many, many times, but they will never forget that. Why? Wow, if Dad spent quality time with me. Said, what do you mean, just me and you? Yeah, just me and you. Let's see. Well, tell me about your day. Yeah? It says one of the sages of the Talmud would always begin his lectures with something humorous. He knew that his students were very much in awe of him, but he also knew that they needed to feel at ease in order to fully absorb his teachings. So what he would do? He would crack it with a joke. The joke would relax them and open their minds for learning. The Talmud also tells the story of Eliyahu, the prophet, accompanying Rabbi Beroka in the marketplace. Eliyahu pointed to two men who had merited the world to come. Remember this? No. Eliyahu Navi was walking and he said, who over here is going to have Olam Haba? He points to two guys who were jokers, yeah? He says, Rabbi Beroka approached them and asked them, what special mitzvah did they had performed? They answered that they were particularly jocular, if that's a word. Wow, interesting. Jocular. And that they would seek out sad people and downtrodden people and cheer them up. The Marasha explains, they merited the world to come, For by cheering the downtrodden, meaning the people that are not happy, they also brought joy to the divine presence, to Hashem. For Meir teaches that when men are sad, the divine presence is also sad. He says a wife is comparable to the divine presence. By making her happy and relaxed, a husband also brings joy to Hashem's divine presence and will also merit the world to come. The Torah commands, and he shall cheer the wife that he has taken. He shall cheer the wife that he has taken. He shall cheer the wife. Yeah, a wife's happiness is a husband's responsibility. Her happiness is his most lucrative investment, both in this world and the next. When she's happy, he'll flourish and succeed in everything that he does. This statement, happy wife, happy life, I heard it, but I never really understood it. I'm like, wait a minute, how can I make her happy? Yeah, I thought always that you can't really make a person happy. Meaning, I can't make you happy. But apparently you could do that. You could do that. One second, before you start. And he says, many people, that have issues, my wife, she's got this Tisha B'Av face.
Yeah.
So what's the reason she has a Tisha B'Av face? You hear? It's because of him.
Because he's not the joke killer.
No, he doesn't want you to be a joke killer. She's now so saddened by all the 30 or 40 years of negative comments and put downs and this and that and no appreciations and this and that. So she's thinking, what am I? I'm just completely mamish downtrodden. You hear?
Actually, the joke killer became a president, like Zelensky.
Yeah. He says, yeah. So he says, therefore, our biggest investment is to make our wives happy. If the wife is happy, you will also be happy. He says, Rav Nachman writes in his Sefer Hamidot, where there is truth, there is peace. Peace is only possible when a home is characterized by truth and honesty. Where there is falsehood and lies, the divine presence departs. For the Talmud says, liars will not receive the divine presence. As it says, one who speaks falsehood will not be standing before my eyes. Yeah, the Torah emphasizes that we must distance ourselves from dishonesty and says, keep far away from falsehood. A marriage with lies is not a marriage. It eventually is gonna surface out, and it's gonna be a big kasha malasha. It says sometimes a man is faced with the dilemma of wanting to do something that he knows his wife won't agree to. If he forgoes the idea in order to avoid arguments with her, he'll be frustrated and upset. Meaning he wants to do something, but she knows she's not gonna let me. So if I don't do it, I'm gonna be upset. So he says, if he goes ahead and does it, what he wants to do, she'll be upset with him. So he may then come to contemplate doing what he wants to do secretly. He estimates that as long as she doesn't find out, they'll both be happy. In theory, this works. But in practice, deceit is ultimately discovered. When his wife does find out what he did, her trust in him is shattered. Once she feels that she can't trust him, she won't be able to be close to him. And their relationship will be badly damaged. The more lies that she discovers, the worse it will be. Absolutely. But he's talking about the man. This is the man's book. In the woman's book, he's probably going to tell her the same thing. But at the end of the day, lies will not help. It's better to say, yes, there'll be a little bit difference of opinion. Yes, you might go and she might not agree to it, but at least it was the truth. You hear? At least it was all open. He may have thought that he was justified in lying to her, relying on the rabbinical permit of deviating from the facts for the sake of Shalom Bayit. But this is a mistake. This permission was only granted for complex situations where selective truth adds to the maintenance of the peace. You hear? One is not permitted to tell an outright lie in order to avoid getting into trouble with others. Don't do anything wrong and you won't get into trouble. He's saying, the rabbi said you could do what's called a white lie. He says they didn't tell you to lie. They just said you a little bit deviate from the truth. Yeah? Exactly. He's not saying you outright lie. Yeah? I don't know what's going on with the Knicks picks or whatever that is, but right now this whole thing, right? So imagine, wife doesn't want you to go to the Knicks game. And you tell, oh, you know, we have a shiur over there, so I'm going to be at the shiur. And you do what? Into the friends,
game,
yeah?
okay.
Into the game thing.
Right.
And all of a sudden, yeah, this thing comes out. How? Later on, she sees your friend, whatever. It's like, yo, so how was Thursday when we were watching the game? Like, Thursday, watching the game? I thought you were in the shiur. Yeah, and then you're going to have to start explaining to her. Yeah, it was a shiur. It was just, you know, the Knicks were showing the shiur. I said, don't lie. You know, be open about it. It says, the Vilna Gaon writes, lie and falsehood. Two different words in Hebrew. Yeah? Lie and falsehood. How would you say that in Hebrew, right? He doesn't write the Hebrew, Rabbi. Lying, sheker is lying, and falsehood is...
Don't say the truth.
Huh? There's two. He says there's two words for lying, but he doesn't mention in Hebrew. It says lying and falsehood. It says have two different meanings. Falsehood is making a promise, intending to keep it, but ultimately reneging on it. Yeah? A lie is uttering a promise that one never intends to fulfill. And words that from the heart go against the truth.
Please explain the
Huh?
difference. Please
Oh,
explain
so
the
he's saying falsehood is I want to do something. Yeah, I really want to do it. But
And I say I'm going to
I said I'm going to do it. And I want to do it, but then I didn't keep my promise. I didn't do it.
Okay,
It
it's
says
not keeping promise.
that's falsehood. Lying, you mamash don't even want to do it. You're not going to do it at all. But you're saying it that you're going to do it. Yeah? So he's saying, he says,
It's
lie.
about promise, not about, it's about promise.
No.
It's about promise.
Let's see what he says. A lie is uttering a promise that one never intends to fulfill. And words that from the start go against the truth. If you already made a promise, then make every effort to fulfill it. Otherwise, you'll be guilty of falsehood. And in the future, yeah, before you promise, consider whether or not you'll be able to keep it. By doing this, you fulfill the commandment, guard what comes out from your mouth. You hear? Guard what comes out. Somebody's making a wedding, you know you're not going to go. You're not going to. Yeah, Be'ezrat Hashem, I'll see you. But you know you're not going to go. Why are you saying you're going to see him? Just tell him, I won't come. Yeah? I'm not going to come. Huh? No, forget mechitza. We're talking about you. He says, many men have told me that they entered into business ventures and had lied to their wives that they were only investing within their means because they said to themselves that their wives didn't understand business matters. But in the course of time, they got into huge debts and had to admit that they had listened to their wives. That if they would have listened to their wives' advice, not only would they not have got into such debt, yeah, but they would have certainly been successful. Meaning, a lot of times.
Totally all other around. Sometimes you listen to your wife.
No. So why? He said he has 50,000. Says, yeah, I'm just going to invest the 50,000. Meanwhile, he borrowed $500,000 for this investment, and he didn't tell her this. You understand? He says, if you would have told her, Jonam, what do you think? I want to borrow $500,000. I want to go into the investment. She would give you a little bit of a challenge, and you would have thought, should I not? This, that. You would have made a different calculated decision. He says, you know what? If you would have been honest, Hashem would have made you successful. Meaning, because obviously, if you told her, she must have agreed with you. Hashem says, oh, you're going to ask her? I'm going to make you successful. A very difficult challenge is a wife's telling her husband to not be in contact with his family. Ooh, I don't want you to talk to your mother. I don't want you to talk to your brothers. This puts him in a very awkward position. On the one hand, he wants to live in peace with his wife. On the other hand, he wants to honor his parents. Visiting his parents behind his wife's back will only deepen the problem. He must try to clarify the reason that she doesn't want him to visit or talk to them. It's quite possible that this is his fault. Quite possible, yeah? Because he has been telling his parents about everything that happens in his home. Yeah? This is not their business. What happens in his home is private between him and his wife. His exposing her privacy angers and insults her. Especially when he tells his parents, know what's going on behind her closed doors. No wonder that she wants him not to go there or not to speak to them. Why? Because he says everything to them. Unfortunately, since we are close to our parents, we grew up with them, first thing we do is, I had an argument with them. No, that's not their business. You hear? And the parents should be very smart, not to meddle in the business of the couple. Yeah, they got married. Let them
Only praise.
let them go at it by themselves. A wife can't bear meddling in-laws. Just as she can't bear comments and criticism from her husband, nobody likes to feel like they're under a microscope. Yeah? In-laws, microscope. They come in,
Is this a good
why?
solution to go
Why?
away from both of the parents?
Why is this like this? Why is that like that? He says, if a wife sees that when her husband returns from his parents, you hear? If a wife sees that when a husband returns, Yaakov, можно это мы будем делать? Please. From his parents, his attitude towards her worsens, then she's positive that they've been bad mouthing her. In this case, she'll demand that he no longer visit. Unfortunately, this does happen. You go over there, and your mother says, they're not vaishuv, they're not inshuv, they're not there. And then you come home, and she's the biggest radar in the world. She knows your attitude from inside your heart. You could be coming with a smile like this. But she sees the smile. She sees the smile. It's not the same smile that you left about an hour ago. And she knows you went to your mom's house, right? So she's thinking, that mom probably said something. He comes like this. Here. That's why this doubly says that when we come home, everything outside. Meaning, yes, sometimes we are bothered, believe it or not. Sometimes the mother does say things that she's not supposed to say. Unfortunately. But we have to try, as he says all the time, when you come home, you put everything outside. Leave it over there behind the door. When you come home with a nice smile, Johnny Ma, Kagzilla, everything is good, she won't know the difference.
I have a question to Rabbi. If a son went to the parents, and the parents do say negative things about the wife, what should the husband do? The wife is not there. Should he stop his parents? I'm not going to listen to this.
It's in one paragraph.
Or he let's say mom is talking, let her vent. What do you do?
Okay, so here we go. Parents usually don't know how to keep their mouth shut, which is a problem. Okay, which is a big problem, especially by our culture. What needs to be done? I said, I love my wife. You don't know her, and I don't want to hear her.
Wow.
Zehu.
You hear me? It's a statement that the parents, they're talking to a wall. I love my wife. She is the best thing that happened to me. And your mother said,
But they actually
Matuya Zoidan, I gave birth to you.
yeah. But
How can you say it?
when you say,
Asumcha?
but by saying this, okay, I'm sure that the husband will feel good. The mother will not feel good.
still not feel good?
Yes.
Yeah, she's not
Meaning the
gonna feel
father
Yeah.
will not feel good?
No.
Because you have
His
to
mother.
understand.
Not gonna feel
you have
good.
to understand. As much as she wants her son to get married, she sees his wife as a competition.
So what to answer the mother?
Okay? That's why you have to be very wise. No professional will talk to parents. I don't talk to parents. I don't. They call me up and say, no, I was the couple as a it's not ethical that I'm going to talk to you. Okay? It's fine.
Basically, not to give information to them.
Nothing.
They should not know.
Because they're
anything.
always going to destroy your work. And sometimes I see husband or wife, when they have a problem with the husband or with the wife, the first call is the parents. I'm going to buy them a lunchbox and I'm going to escort them back to
Pione.
nursery. That's where they belong. Why are you calling your parents? What are they going to do? Either they're going to be good with the wife or the daughter-in-law, and they go say to the husband, you tak, and he might be right in this case. Okay, they are biased. You cannot talk to people that are biased.
They're not objective.
Ma?
Not objective.
They have to take side.
Yeah.
It's always good to go to a person who is not involved and he will not take side, and he will see the picture very clear.
But we do see the picture clear from this book. This is a work of a man, not a woman.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, you see, I was the captain again and again. I'll tell you this. I didn't expect from my. I always was harsh on myself. You know, first one to get up, yeah. Always gotta, you know, look like a captain. You know, you are. I cannot come to my general and say, who did you give me over here? Bunch of idiots that I cannot deal with. If we look at you like, you know, a man is a man. At the moment that he picks up the phone and calls her parents, okay? Her parents, his parents,
Game over.
give him a lunchbox, okay? Pacifier, yes,
Soska.
Soska.
Детский сад.
That's always the case. What do you mean, what if?
Jealous of her husband's family.
What can be, what's the jealousy is all about?
She compares her family to your family. This is jealousy. What are you supposed to do?
What can you do? That's the. Do you want me?
Prevent you from talking to your family members.
Bora John, can we leave the questions for a little bit later? Please, 1 second, please. A husband must never share his marital problems with his parents.
Here we go.
Both he and they will definitely transgress the prohibition of slander, which is Lashon Hara, and nothing positive will result from their discussions. His parents will no doubt take his side and deepen whatever rift has developed between them. Instead, he shouldn't tell his parents anything about it, and he should seek advice from a competent rabbi. If a husband ever sees his parents trying to interfere in matters between his wife and himself, he must immediately put a stop to it and stand by his wife. His first alliance is to her. You understand? There's nothing to do with the parents. Zero. Why? Mom, my wife did this to me. EB Junior. What? EB. This like that. I told you she's like that. And what did she do? She just made everything worse. She just made everything. Now he goes home and she's got the, he's got the mother's words in here. Of course it's end game. You hear? Says,
He made it work.
yeah, by exactly.
Rabbi, my nephew, Rabbi Iran, every dollar you give, 3 times
Yeah.
food for Talmud Torah.
When
You give
it's
it
forbidden to lie, the evil inclination encourages us to do so. When it's a mitzvah to hide the truth, he encourages us to be zealous with the truth. Whenever a husband returns from a visit with his family, he should say that they convey their warmest regards, even though in reality they may have said exactly the opposite. Meaning, when he comes from his mother's house, she said, "Oh, my mother says hello, this and that." Even though she said, "Your wife like this, your wife like that," she said, "Wow, everything is beautiful." She's saying, a husband should praise his wife to his parents. Even if he exaggerates it, he's supposed to come, not say, she doesn't know how to cook, I don't know, the house is messy. No, everything, yishtabach shemo la'ad, even though he hasn't eaten in 3 days. Yeah, beautiful, everything is good. By doing so, he emulates Aaron, the high priest, who would strive to bridge dissension and enhance people's love for one another. Peacemaking is a lofty mitzvah. For our sages tell us, be of the students of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace. Truth is the cornerstone of a home. The Mahram Sheikh, in his commentary on Tractate Avot, writes, love truth and peace. Why is truth placed before peace? Love truth and peace. So he's saying, why is truth before peace? Because peace is impossible if there's no truth. When there is truth, then there's peace. Rav Nachman writes in the Sefer Hamidot that truth redeems one from all sorrows. So Be'ezat Hashem, we're gonna learn.
Once I was in by somebody's house, a person that I worked on for a long time became a mensch. And his parents were there also, I don't know, the occasion or something. So I sit next to his father, and his mother is just. And this guy, after all he got up from his chair, he went to the kitchen, he helped his wife to bring stuff in and out. Even though the children also were there, he wanted to be a part of it. Pitome I hear his mother saying to the father, "You are John? Huh? מה לגופתם כי המואר זוהר?" פסלת לא, זה לא. She was upset why he's not sitting down. And my stomach was turning up. I said, should I say something or should I? Something, such a good husband.
It's better not to say.
Huh?
It's better not to say.
No,
They're not going to accept you.
there is nobody to talk to. Nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
So then when they gave me the to speak, I chose the topic, to make sivuvim, and I got into the, and I said, a husband, when he does something at home, right, the mitzvah is 100 times more than his wife. Example, it's not your job, for example, to change a child a diaper. She was born for that. Your job is coming a chesed or something like that. So the Gemara said, "Tova echad b'tzahar, mimea shelo b'tzahar." Yeah. When you do one mitzvah, but with
Difficulty?
with a difficulty, she has to change 100 diaper, and you
Only
one, and you're the same scale, right? Because it's not your job. It's not your job. So I said, a person who don't know how to read or he reads Hebrew kacha, I have to pray 100 times a shacharit. He'll pray one time, and we are equal. He gets 100 mitzvot for his tefillah. A husband that wash dishes is not his job. The Torah didn't say he has to do it, but he wants to do it to help his wife. All right? He wants to do it. Every move that he does, kacha, in his place, 100 times, 200, 300, 400, and I was, I illustrated in such a way that everybody said, he had job. So I said, imagine 1,000 mitzvot with one side of the plate.
Wow.
Now when it turns the plate, becoming 2,000. She has to wash 2,000 plates, right? This is only by Ilagio, you can do it, right? And the husband can do it only after one meal. I'm telling you, this. If you
Everybody
know the
watch Question.
cheshbonot, if you know the cheshbon, they're so far away from the truth. Huh?
Wow, wow, wow.
Did you have to do the laundry?
Yeah, sure.
But you did it, but it's your job?
No.
No, it's not your job. So he decided, I want to do a lot.
Mitzvot. Why?
Why the mitzvot, Habibi? Why? Kaka.
Doctor wants to watch this today. You're gonna make everybody watch this now.
I'm telling you.
When I take the question, no, leave, I'll do it.
Okay, why? Because she's respecting you. And she said, this is not your job, this is my job. That's very nice.
Should we insist? No, it's okay.
You know, that shows that the relationship are on the right track. By the way, you know, if she don't let you do things, she said, this is mine, it shows that she still have respect toward you. Okay, so that's a good sign. I like to hear that. You know that. Yeah. It's chaval that you didn't learn a long time ago. We will save many bad days, huh, Abraham?
We did. Yeah.
Yeah. We will save many bad days. You know?
Rabbi, question, what can we do to